Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Brody.
And we also have Steven.
You can't call me a special guest anymore, I'm here too much.
He is an official part of Chortle Games, so he's here, as always.
Say special guest?
Huh? I don't think I did. Did I?
You usually do say special guest, but you didn't this time.
Say Siri, so
I definitely didn't say Siri, but Siri wanted in, so shut up, Siri.
Special guest, Siri!
Hey! This episode is sponsored by Apple. Get me an iPhone X, please. Thank you. Welcome to ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. And boys, we're back. It's been a while. We've gone a whole week or so without a podcast. I think it's been
feels like more.
I think it's been 2 weeks that we've gone without a podcast. It's just been
because the last one went up on Halloween.
It was the one before Halloween.
Yeah.
Before the weekend of Halloween, and we had a conspiracy podcast.
And we filmed a surprise one for next Friday.
For next week with a certain classy person.
I don't know if anyone will know who we're talking about.
For you audio listeners, I just winked about 20 times at the camera. So, anywho, yeah.
Yeah, I can't see you, and that was like a really awkward pause. That I was like, "What's happening?"
Steven, you're basically an audio listener, so when things don't make sense, you have to clarify for us. Anywho, we're back. It's been a while, but we are ready to go. We've got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about some Destiny 2 DLC talk. We're going to be talking about a lot about what we've been playing, which is going to be Cuphead, some Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, some Marvel, all sorts of games. Probably some more Destiny talk, Mario, whatever, and then we might talk about the new Mario movie that they're talking about making. We may get into a little bit of the BattleFront 2 conspiracy is what I was about to say, but craziness that's going on right now. But we're gonna have a good show for you. It's gonna be a nice conversation, nice round table about just what's happening right now. In
triangular table.
It is a triangular table. You're right.
We are the knights.
We are the trifecta.
No, we're the knights of the triangle.
Ooh, I like that.
I like the knights of the trifecta better.
I like knights of the triangle table because it just makes more sense.
I don't think it does, but whatever. There are a lot of triangles in the Curse of Osiris DLC that's coming to Destiny.
How would you know that?
I've seen a bunch of... Have you not seen all the gameplay streams and stuff?
No. I haven't watched any. All I saw was...
You sent a link!
That was
this morning.
There's pyramids, probably, because of Osiris.
I've only seen triangles.
Interesting.
There's lots of triangles.
Well, beautiful segue either way. Tell me about it, Jake.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't segueing into anything. I was just saying there are triangles. I'm making an observation here. Because that's what I'm here for.
I mean, maybe they are.
You normally segue.
I'll segue in a minute. I'll save that one for later. So hold your horses for that. First, though,
I'll hold
let's just catch up. What have we been playing? So, would anyone? Steven, you've been playing some Lego. God, that's a long, hard name to say. Lego Marvel Superhero.
I've been doing a lot of things. I got South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Burned through that in like 3 days.
I heard that name without laughing. It's so stupid.
It's hard to do, but it was honestly a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a fan of South Park. I've been following the show for a while, but once you get past the fact that it is a South Park game and the fart jokes, which this game is like 60% fart jokes, it's really charming. Mm-hmm. Because it's basically a bunch of kids playing superhero.
Right.
Like, you could be in a fight in the middle of the street with some 6th graders, and then one of the characters may yell, "Car!" And then everyone will look, and then they'll have to get off the battlefield as the car drives through the battlefield, and then they're like, "Okay, we're good," and then they'll keep fighting. So it, like, never stops feeling like a game of pretend, and I just think that's just really cool.
Yeah.
But then there's awful things like Jared from Subway's boss fight, which I can't talk about here. Look it up.
It goes the exact direction you would think it would. So
it goes further than you think it would.
You know, I ate Subway the other day, and all I could think while they were making my sandwich was what you described about that battle in the Fractured Butthole.
So me and Steven watched it together, and we were like, we were just laughing, and then it got to like one of his fight moves, and we were just like, oh my god.
That's his only fight move, and it's an insta kill. Oh man! But it's a great game though. It was. Then I went and got Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. That's what I'm currently in the middle of, and it's so good.
Right.
I've only played a few missions so far. The voice acting isn't good. The only good voice actor is probably the one for Captain America and Star-Lord. But
I don't know who is who, but the Kind of Funny team are voice actors for the game. I don't know who they play. I just know that they're in it. So I'd be curious. Yeah, Greg. Greg, and I think Tim. But I'm not.
I'm curious to know, because some of the voices are just awful. Like,
I was surprised to hear that there were voices, which I guess I knew that, but when I first heard, just because normally Lego games they tend to avoid voices and go for more like slapstick comedy type stuff.
Ever since Lego Lord of the Rings, they've had voices.
I remember a long time ago, me and you played a Star Wars one.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed the Lego games. I don't pick them up as much because they're typically like not high on my list. But any one of them that I've played, I have really enjoyed. So Lee Allison and I are going to be doing some videos playing through Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. That'll probably be up later in a few months. So look forward to that. But yeah.
So the map in this game is one of the things that intrigued me the most. The basic premise is Kang the Conqueror, who is a time travel villain, is the villain in this game. And so he goes to various places in the galaxy and rips up cities and all these places and puts them in one big city called Chronopolis. So when you unlock the full map, you're looking at a citadel in the middle, which is Kang. Then you've got medieval England, Kunlun, Wakanda, Manhattan, Hydra Manhattan, Noir Manhattan, Egypt, which means Moon Knight might be in it, which is really cool. Xandar, Sakaar, Atalan, like it's all these smaller cities in one giant, like open world map. And it's really cool because you go around and you can find quests with minor characters. Like, I went and found Agent Venom, who is the coolest version of Venom in a future New York place, and he was asking me to help him find Venom and Carnage. So you can do these side quests that help you unlock minor characters, and they can also help you unlock missions. And it's just one of those games that, me being a huge Marvel fan, like I just love every bit of it. I was telling you guys earlier that Star-Lord, my favorite character, whenever you hold down the ability button with him, he stops whatever he's doing, pulls out his Walkman and puts on his headphones and starts just carelessly dancing everywhere, and anyone within earshot starts to dance too, even if they're trying to kill you. And like wherever his guns are pointed at mid-dance, if you press the shoot button, he'll just start shooting. So they could be pointed up and he'll just, start shooting without a care in the world. It's just really cool. Like, yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far.
Yeah. It's from what I've seen that you've sent in Snapchats and whatnot, and what little I've experienced, it seems like there's a lot of charm. The thing I love most about Lego games is just how many characters you always get to play as, even if there's not a whole lot of variety between them. Which I've heard that every character kind of feels like they've got their own individual thing going on. But there's supposedly 200 characters that are playable in this. 200
plus, and they all feel unique.
Jeez. I love it. I'm excited to play it. I'm going to be playing through some of it, and then I think Lee Allison and I are going to like replay some of my favorite missions or something, or we might just mess around in the open world or something. Lee Allison loves Spider-Man.
There's a lot to do.
So
there's a lot to do in the open world.
Right. Well, cool. Have you been playing anything else that you want to talk about?
I feel like there's something that I'm missing.
Y'all been playing a lot of Diablo or one of those. I don't know if
we've been playing a lot of Diablo. I finally got Brody back into it, played it with Miles some. But really we've been getting more into Dying Light.
Right.
I'll let Brody talk about that because I've talked about Dying Light enough, and I can't speak for him whether or not he's enjoyed it or not. He seems like he's enjoyed it.
Fun. Drop kicking zombies is really fun. The parkour feels.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's literally what I said. The first podcast.
But yeah, I think the other day I was like, Jake would probably like this game a lot because it's basically all melee weapons.
Yeah. I think I saw it was on sale for $30 or something, or its current
16.
price is.
It was 16 last week.
That's why last week. Is that why you got it? No. Well, you could have told me. I'm sure y'all did. I'm sure one of you did.
I think I sent in a group chat that was like, "Hey, I just picked up this and Lego Marvels."
Did you go through GameStop though?
No.
No. Oh, you just got it online?
Yeah, it's through the PlayStation Store.
Look at you. I'm making a video. It'll probably go out late December, but it's basically my sad experience of nobody wants to play Destiny 2 with me anymore. And it's basically
You're making a video about it?
I am. It's going to be our Wednesday video, probably the last Wednesday in December. That's going to be, or not December.
It won't make any sense.
In November.
If it was in December, we would be playing with you.
No one is playing with me, Brody, is what I'm telling you. So
in December, we will play with you.
I may put it up sooner.
Here's the thing.
We'll see.
Here's the thing. I got basically everything I want to get because one of Destiny 2's many problems is that the exotics are so underwhelming. There's just nothing that I want to hunt down where I'm like, yes, I need this weapon for my build. And so when I get the cosmetic stuff that I want and I'm around a light level that I want to be, when the end-all challenge, the raid, is something I really, really don't want to do, but I will for my friends, then there's a problem because there's nothing bringing me back in. And that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm hoping Osiris does.
Right.
But for now, I'm tapped out till Osiris comes out.
See, and I guess... Well, we're gonna go off on a Destiny tangent here now, but I am at a point where like I've got all three of my characters, and every time I play with one of them, I get them a little bit closer to where I want them to be. I want all of mine to be 305. I've got my hunter at 304, and my sword is the only thing that's holding me back, and I refuse to let it go. But like I thought Artemis, my Titan, I thought I had her cosmetically and gear wise in a place that I really liked, but I've been playing a bunch as her and I found some new gear. I've got like a Titan mark thing that's like a cape that goes all the way down to her feet. I've just been finding all sorts of new things that I really like for her. Plus I've been getting a lot of exotic emotes now. So the only thing I think I'm missing is the 6-shooter thing.
That's the first one I got. Like the first week of the game.
That was an angry pause for you audio listeners.
I was about to ask, like, there's another pause that I could see Jake, like, staring bullets into Brody's eyes or something.
And hey, speaking of, and we can talk about this during DLC time, but on this Friday, November 17th, today, we have to start playing together so that I can get the extra XP, so that I can get that emote.
You said that today.
I'm just telling you.
But it was like, what is the XP for?
For tests, Eververse. When you level up, you get a bright Ingram, right?
Yeah, but you don't always get dust.
I don't need dust. I need the emotes. I need to just get as many bright Ingrams as I can to up my chances. Till
you get lucky enough to get 6-shooter.
Is that or in the few weeks between now and what's it called? The Osiris DLC update. Maybe they'll put the 6-shooter back out on store, and then I would get enough bright Ingrams to get that. I don't know. Anyway, that's we can talk about that more once we get into the DLC. But
I've only gotten 2 emotes since the game came out, so I'm surprised. How many are there? There's the salt, table flip, and 6-shooter.
I don't have the salt one either. Dang it! I got the table flip. I had to sell about 1 million. I had to dismantle about 1 million. Shaders to get it, but I got it.
Did you get the floss dance yet?
No, I do not have the floss dance either.
So you need a lot of stuff then.
I need a lot, but I know the 6.
Do you have Ride the Pony yet?
I have Ride the Pony. I think
Ride the Pony is not a legendary.
It is legendary.
It's not exotic.
Yeah.
Exotic. There's the table flip. There's the ramen. There's the 6-shooter.
Anything with neon, I think, is
exotic. Yeah. So if I don't get any, I'd be happy. But I'd still be happy with what I have. But I think it's like triple XP, but you have to be playing with a clan member, which are you guys. So we have to play some. There's no excuses now. What got us on this tangent was I was saying that the past 3 or 4 times I've played, I've gotten online, you guys are online, and you're playing something. In fact, one time, Steven was the only one on, and he was like, I'm just waiting for Brody or Miles to jump on Dota or something. And I was just like, or Diablo, whatever. And I was just like, you can come play Destiny with me until they come on. He was like, no, I think they'll be on in a minute. So he waited for about 30 minutes or so. And then, like, I was supposed to get off in 30 minutes. But, like, at the end of that 30 minutes, he was like, you know, I'll come on. And what are you doing? You doing Flashpoint? I'll come on for a little bit, whatever. And so, anyway. But I was just like.
And then somebody got on?
No. Then I eventually had to get off. I probably played for 10, 20 or more minutes.
I think I got stood up that night.
By Brody and Miles.
Yeah, double stood up. Yeah.
Oh, well. Good old Jake was there for you.
And stand up a lot.
You don't stand up a lot.
I don't stand people up. Is that a thing?
That's probably a correct terminology.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Brody doesn't stand up a whole lot.
My job is sitting down. So.
So, what else have you been playing, Brody? You mentioned Dying Light. You're enjoying that.
Yeah, Dying Light, Diablo, Marnio. Been playing a lot of Marnio.
Is that Mario?
Being stupid. Yes, Mario.
Marnio. How do you like? You've beaten the story now, right? Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. It was cute.
Steven, you're not going to play it anytime soon, right? Do you mind hearing a little spoilers?
Spoilers for a Mario game?
There's a couple like really cool moments.
You said little spoilers, but the thing you're going to say is a pretty big spoiler.
The thing I'm going to say is a pretty big spoiler. So if you haven't beaten the story, I would personally suggest you not listen to this because it is a pretty cool moment. But anyway, the end, you fight Bowser for the final time. You finally beat him. You're on the moon, and you fall through into like the core of the moon. And it's you, Mario, or it's you, Peach, and Bowser. And Bowser's knocked out. His hat's gone. The moon is crumbling around you. And Peach is like, Mario, what are we going to do? And then you can see them both look at Bowser's blank head, hatless head. And it clicks to you like, oh shit, I can be Bowser. This is going down. And so, like, I ran up to Peach. I threw my head on Bowser. The first time you ever capture anything, you kind of, like, see the life of that thing. So, like, when we were streaming.
No, it happened once.
I know, that's what I'm saying. When you capture for the first time.
The first time you capture something.
No.
Anything for the first time.
So, when we captured that frog, you saw the tadpole. And then, as it was a frog. And then the same thing happens with Bowser. So, like, you see pixelated Bowser and like all the different stages of Bowser, and then you are Bowser and you run through the moon as Bowser with Peach. I thought it was great. I was giggling, happy, excited the whole time that happened. Did you have a similar experience?
I thought it was really cool. Me and Alex we didn't play it together, but she was watching me and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "What?"
I don't know why. The whole time I was playing that game, I don't know why it never crossed my mind that, I can probably become Bowser at some point. Like, that took me for a full loop. Like, I was not expecting that at all. I mean,
there's just some things you can't take over.
Right, exactly.
But you can become a tree, so I don't know.
And a rock, and a hunk of meat. So
I don't know what, like, keeps you from becoming some things.
It's a hat. If they're wearing a hat, you can become.
Well, I mean, I can't throw my hat at a building and become a building.
They have hats. I don't know.
Do they?
I don't know.
If you became a building, I bet you should have a lot of stories to tell. I'm back!
I'm back, baby! Yeah.
They have beaten it, got to the dark side of the moon, which if
I haven't gone there yet.
250, it's basically like you fight, I guess spoilers still.
You fight the.
We'll wave our arms a lot when it's done.
This is spoilers for me because I have not touched it. Not if it's the bunnies, right? You fight the bunnies.
You fight the rabbits again.
Yeah. Okay. It's not as big of a spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, wave. But you wave again. More spoilers. You you don't get like hearts during each battle.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's like a tower thing. You fight your way up the tower. You fight each of the bunnies.
Interesting.
And you don't get any extra hearts.
Interesting. Okay. That's hard.
And I gave up because the first rabbit is the hardest one.
Which one is that?
And I cannot, like...
The one that bars poison?
No, he's easy, dude. He's the easiest one. You can just stand in the center and, like,
whack
destroy
him.
him.
Yeah.
It's the dude who stacks hats. The green one.
Oh, yeah, the green one.
And it's so stupid. His hat gets so... Or his
He has so many hats at a certain point, yeah.
Hats on top of his head, and he just slams his hats on the ground and spins in a circle, but the circle's too big and you can't get out of it, and it's just annoying, but... Wait, my arms again.
Yeah. That's I haven't gotten that far. Once I got to the Mushroom Kingdom, I played around in there, and then I said, all right, I'm going to go back
spoilers.
Spoilers. I said, all right, I'm going to go back to World 1, and from there, and move my way forward, collecting every moon, collecting every purple coin, which most of the kingdoms I had all the purple coins, but...
Why are you so close to the camera?
Steven's like... He's looking at us funny.
What?
You're looking at us funny.
I was just sitting forward. Sorry,
You're good.
Tired.
And then
I'm yawning a lot.
Me and Alexander are excited. She's probably more so excited that Sims 4 comes out on PlayStation tomorrow. Everyone, in case you care about that.
I do honestly care about that because when we first started the channel, one of the first things I thought would be fun to do would be to have a Sims series.
Really?
Yes, because those are popular.
I don't know how well that translates with us, but
I don't know, but it would. That was something I thought about, but then it was like, it's PC, and at that time I hadn't figured out how that would all work. So anyway, I don't know. And then you didn't seem excited about it, so I was like, okay, all right, that's not what we're gonna do. So
I still don't know if I would be.
Yeah, I don't know how it would go, but anyway,
we just kill everyone.
If you would like it, let us know in the comments. Yeah, that would be fun to make a haunted house though.
True.
How cool would it be? What if we just did a series where we were making the ultimate haunted house? Because like Sims 4 has some crazy things.
We get flagged.
We would?
A lot. Yeah.
For murdering people?
Yes.
In a video game?
Cuphead got flag demonetized, by the way. And you know
today?
Why? No, it's been demonetized.
It has not been on mine.
When I checked the app, it was a yellow dollar sign.
I'm gonna look right now.
Which, if it still is, I will let you know why it is.
Why?
Is because you put mugging in the title.
What, 2 mugs mugging is a bad thing?
They were probably just like, mugging? Nah, that's bad.
They're both green.
Well, okay.
I never saw it go to yellow.
I saw it yellow.
I will say this though. Almost every video that we upload now, it's flagged as not advertiser friendly for about half an hour. And then it usually goes off.
Maybe
now,
that's what I thought.
Some of them have lasted longer, like a day, which makes me mad because our typical views are on day 1.
What does it matter? We don't get money.
I know, I'm just saying. So, anyway.
For someone big, yeah, that sucks if it gets demonetized when it first goes up, because that's when they get most of their revenue.
But see, like now the only one that has stayed demonetized or not suitable for most advertisers is Pervert of Hell's Kitchen, which was Little Nightmares.
Probably because it says pervert.
Probably because it says pervert, which I understand. But, you know, anyway. Now that I've proved you wrong, what else do we want to talk about? I've been playing Destiny.
That's
Destiny.
We've been playing Destiny.
But then we've also been playing Cuphead, Brody and I. As you saw on the channel, if you watched the channel this week, we started a Cuphead series. I will eat my words and say that it is a really fun game.
When did you say it was?
I don't know that I ever said it wasn't, but I was not expecting to have as much fun with it as I have had.
I was expecting it.
I thoroughly enjoy it. Every time I edit it, like what we filmed already, I'm like, I don't want to edit this. I want to play this. So that's a good sign for me with a game. So I have really, really enjoyed it. If you got an Xbox, you got to go play that.
Freaking play it.
For sure. Just freaking play it,
It's
man.
like $20.
It's really, that's the thing that really gets me in. It's like, this is not expensive, and this is really fun. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm trying to think of what else I've played. I have not played Worms Battleground, which came out. I have downloaded it. I have not touched Bound, but I have downloaded it.
I bought it last year when it came out, and it was like,
yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but
I've been saving some of them because I'm sure we'll do a video on one or the other at some point. Steven's making some weird faces.
I'm tired, guys.
Do you have some problems over there on your end?
You look drugged.
No, I'm just falling asleep a little bit.
Are we that boring, Steven?
Well, I mean, a little context. No, you're not. But I had my first Thanksgiving dinner of
you've had
the
turkey
week
today. I've
had turkey today because over at work we had a Thanksgiving lunch, and over the course of the next week, I'm going to have 4 more Thanksgivings, and I'm not prepared for that.
I'm not prepared for that. I'm going to have a Thanksgiving weekend this weekend. Going to be eating some good old food. It's going to be great.
I'm moving my parents, so I don't know if we're going to...
So
most of our stuff is going to be packed up. I don't know what we're doing for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's always hard when you're doing stuff like that over a holiday. Because last year my parents had moved, or rather, their house had not been built yet.
Yeah.
During Christmas, so we kind of had to make do with what we had.
Yeah, it's been a year since you got the VR thing done.
I know. It's
because
great.
I remember the very first video I saw of it was
my dad playing VR.
Yeah, your dad trying to drive a car in VR.
Yeah, and he was like pressing his foot down for the brake. It's great. It's great stuff. All right, well let's talk about the Curse of Osiris DLC.
All I know is that the Infinite Forest has like 3 different
timelines.
Pretty much. It's like every time you go, it's going to be different.
I tell you that was going to happen?
I just want to take a moment.
I thought you just said it was going to be like a horde mode thing.
I just want to take a moment to bask in a little bit of glory here that I have become such a Destiny 2 fan that I probably know more about this DLC than you both do. Not that that's a dig at. It's not a dig at either of you. I want to acknowledge and say I'm proud of myself because I know a little bit more about a shooter than you both probably do.
Which is weird because before the game came out, you were like, I was like,
I'll play it. I'm going to play it with you guys, and now I can't get you guys to play it with me. So how the tides have turned. Steven, continue. What were you saying?
How the turntables.
I'm sorry, Steven. I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Yeah. No, you're good. Infinite Forest. I'm pretty sure I said back when it leaked, the Infinite Forest was probably going to be in some way procedural. So if we're counting wins, I'm going to count that for a win for myself.
Well, it is not procedural, but they have said it's going to be different. Yeah, it always changes. I assume there's a limit to those changes, but basically what I've seen is if you run a mission, certain things will happen a certain way. But if you were to run that mission again, they would be different. Which I'm not. It must be a very small detail that's keeping it from being quote procedurally generated. But they have said that it's not procedurally generated. It's just going to be different.
Is it going to be like a game mode, the Infinite Forest, or is it just going to be a place?
So here's my understanding. My understanding is that is the planet, is the Infinite Forest. Like that's what we're going to be running around on. Because they showed the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is obviously a tower. You guys have probably been in there before. No?
Nope.
Okay, well, the lighthouse was in the first game. But you would look out the window and be like, oh, I wish we could go there. Well, now you can walk outside. And from what little I've seen, it looks like the lighthouse is on a little circular island. And on part of that island, there's a big triangle gate that goes into the infinite forest.
A triangle?
Yes, I told you there are triangles. But yeah, it looks like the lighthouse is just its own little social space, which they keep calling it a social space, but I don't know why. Because when you say social space to me, I'm thinking of the tower, the farm, and that's not what it is. You're still walking around with guns holstered and everything. It's not like your weapons down, you're safe.
Someone said it's like basically like the area that you go talk to failsafe.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So anyway, so that's a great example. The Exodus Black part of Nessus, that's basically what the lighthouse is, except there's a tower that you can go up to. There's an area around it. But then you go into the Infinite Forest, and from what I've seen so far, there's like a path that takes you to 3 towers that represent 3 different timelines. And when you go through those, you're going to go through the dark future version of Mercury, the bright Mercury. There's like the bright past or something like that, and then there's like an alternate present that you can go through.
The only one I know is the future one where the sun burnt out or something. And
it's the
Vex took over.
Yeah,
everything.
Vex took over everything. So I assume there's more world in those 3 different timelines, but I don't know how much or anything like that.
And there's a new patrol zone, which is exciting. That adds more to the game.
There's new PvP maps.
Yeah.
And then I guess the big thing that everyone's excited about, which I don't know why you guys are excited about it because we still haven't done the raid, is the raid lair.
I didn't say I was excited. I'm interested to see what.
I'm not excited.
Okay, fine.
So explain.
So
you said that it was going to add on to the Leviathan, right?
Yes.
So,
but it's like new enemies, new bosses, and like
new puzzles.
I don't know if it's puzzles. It's just puzzles again.
I mean, there are gonna be. So the idea is it's gonna be a shorter raid. It's gonna be still as challenging.
Is it still going to basically be American Ninja Warrior in Destiny form? Because if it is, I'm not okay with it.
They haven't shown anything of like gameplay of it, but they basically sold it as, here is a smaller version of the raid that's still going to be as challenging, but it's probably more feasible to do in a few hours than the raid is, several hours. Or in our case, 24 hours, and we still didn't do it. Or whatever. That's my understanding. But basically, what's interesting is the directory has changed because now it has the normal Leviathan raid that you can go do, but then off to the left, there's the Curse of Osiris raid layer, and then off to the right, there's what they've already confirmed is going to be the second DLC that's going to be that one's raid layer.
Yeah, which I think someone said the second DLC looked like it's going to be the Iron Lords again, I think.
There was some girl that's in the picture.
And everyone said it looked like a... So I don't... Steven, you probably know her.
Betty or something like that.
Betty?
Something like that.
I don't think it's...
I heard, I think, 2 theories. One of which is that it could be the Iron Lords, which would be pretty cool. The other one was... I forget her name.
Apparently Betty.
But it was... No, it was a different name.
Call her Betty.
She had to do with... maybe Future War Cult or something.
That sounds right.
She was a former hunter who bore the crest of one of the capes that you can get, which is a wolf, which I know. Wow. Yeah. Is it Future War Cult?
I'm looking it up. But yeah, what you're saying is what I've seen.
Which could either be a hunter's crest or the Iron Lords, because they brand themselves very similarly with just a wolf's head.
Right, yeah. It was something about a wolf and some other stuff.
Some kind of wolf?
I'm not seeing the name.
Who cares? It's Betty. That's what her name is now.
Her name is now Betty. Yeah. House of Wolves expansion is what some people are calling it.
No, that was in year 1 of Destiny 1.
It's going to be similar to that, is what they're saying.
And then we'll probably get the Taken King update after that.
Yeah. Anywho, I don't know. I'm excited about it. But anyway, that one's going to bring a raid layer too. So, you seemed interested about it.
I'm just interested to see what they'll do.
I would like to... First off, I would like to try to do the raid. So I can just check that little box off my list of things to do. But I would be interested to see if we could, if doing this raid would be more feasible. Because Steven, if it was just challenging, but it was doable in a few hours, would that make it any more enticing for you?
If it challenged me in a way that didn't feel like Guardian's Fat Camp, then yeah, I would totally be in for it. And that, I actually was in a firefight using my skills, using my gear, and not running through literal hoops to do a raid, then yeah, I'd be into it. Yeah, literal hoops. That's literally a part of the raid.
Maybe the next raid will be a little better in that regard, but that remains to be seen. Another cool thing that they're bringing in, and I'm not sure, I think that this could go a lot of different ways, but there's a forge in the lighthouse.
I saw that after you beat the DLC that you can
craft weapons there. And the idea is, just like on all the other planets, there are quests that at the end of those you get some kind of weapon that you can then continue doing some other like minor quests that requires you to like shoot a certain number of people or precision hit on this planet, whatever. I imagine it's going to be, they describe it as quests to get certain weapons, and once you complete the quest, you can go to the forge and craft this weapon. Based on the fact that we don't have like random, we're not picking up iron minerals or something as we play, at least right now.
Yeah.
I assume it's just going to be you complete the quest, you check off that list. The forge is where you go to pick it up, kind of. You're making it, but you're really just kind of picking it up.
When does this DLC come out?
DLC comes out December 5th. So not too terribly long. Why?
Because that weekend is the Monster Hunter beta.
Monster Hunter.
Yes. No.
Yeah, that's
Monster Hunter is December 9th.
Yeah.
That weekend.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So it's like it comes out on a Tuesday. Yeah. Destiny comes out on a Tuesday. Yeah. Monster Hunter is that weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm way more excited to play Monster Hunter than Destiny DLC.
I hate you guys because first off, this is what really makes me mad. Number one, I got into this game because you guys asked me to.
Ask you? No, we didn't.
Yes, you did. Y'all were both like, get Destiny 1 so that when Destiny 2 comes out, we can all play together.
Whoa. That's a different story, Jake. I was saying get Destiny 1 for $5 and I would give you a free Taken King code. That's different.
I'm just saying, y'all were like, come play Destiny with us because when Destiny 2 comes out, we're all going to play together. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till Destiny 2. I don't want to get any tampering.
It's your fault.
How is it my fault? I'm just saying.
Hey, Jake, spend $5 to come play this game with us. No, I'll wait to pay the $60.
I am not complaining about getting the game and playing it because I am now in love with it. What I am upset about is that you guys don't play with me anymore.
We will play with you when Osiris comes out.
For about 2 weeks.
We will.
And then you're gonna leave me.
Hey. It's not my fault that Bungie can't pace their content very well.
I don't know how you two are both like, there's nothing left to do. Like, have y'all done all the quests on all the planets?
No. But why?
I have no interest to do the quests.
You get cool weapons.
But I found weapons.
Oh, Rat King. Oh.
Well, not even Rat King. I like Drag. That's a sidearm that you get. I use that on my Hunter. It's really good.
It's a really cool pistol as opposed to the other much more interesting exotics that I got.
Whatever.
We'll play.
I got Hardlight the other day. That finally happened.
I've really come to like Hardlight.
When I got it at the beginning of the game, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
that was my gun in Destiny 1. So yeah, I was like, awesome.
I really have come to like that.
Still waiting for Bad Juju to come back. Jake, tell you what, Jake. If they add Bad Juju back in its D1 form for me to use, for me to get my super back as much as I need to, I will play D2 with you.
In its D1 form.
It's not going to be, and that's the problem. That's my problem, is that they gave so much with D2, and then they took away so much from what I enjoyed.
The Akamara spine for the Hunter is like trip mines last long.
Garbage.
I have, what was the one I was telling you I had the other day? It's like raspberries something.
Lucky Raspberry,
that's it. For my Hunter, that's awesome. I basically get 2 grenades.
That's the best Hunter piece.
Yeah, that's great. The Arc Hunter is the only Hunter that got any love. the rest of us, the Gunslinger Hunter got a little bit of it, but it's like us Night Stalkers over there, they tried to give us something with Orpheus Rig, but then they made it not synergy. You know what? I've ranted about this a million times.
One thing that's like I've seen a lot of people is that they leveled up their Hunters all the way, unlocked all the branches and stuff of the different paths. Mm-hmm. But the thing I've seen is that people started over their Hunters for the bottom Night Stalker path, that they didn't upgrade to where you get the 6 shots. They just left it at 3, and it works better with Orpheus Rig. And then the top...
That was what I considered doing that, honestly.
And then the top path for Gunslinger, instead of going with the 6 really crappy shots, just leave it with 3, and it works better with, like, the bird mask, whatever it's fucking...
Yeah.
Celestial Nighthawk.
Yeah, there you go. Bird mask.
See, and therein lies the problem. That's the problem with the way they do subclasses now. Because before you could pick and choose, and now you're just screwed with what you get.
And it'd be a lot better if you could unselect that thing, but you can't take it off for some reason. I don't know why. But
I might be wrong, but when I first started playing with my Warlock, I did not realize that as I was unlocking things in those tiers, that I was eventually going to be locked off to just one of them. So I think when you're just building out the thing, if you're selecting just like 1 from the bottom and 2 or 3 from the top, it still collects all of those until you've got 2 conflicting ones. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong.
Like you're saying that you could use both paths at the same time?
As long as you don't have as long as you don't have conflicting nodes.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure mine was doing that until I unlocked all of 1. Then it locked me off. I could totally be wrong. I have not tested this.
Are you saying that you couldn't use both subclasses at their full potential?
I'm saying like, so when you started on, there's 4 nodes on each of the 2 paths, right?
So you're saying you could pick a grenade thing from 1 and a melee thing from 1.
Right.
No.
Okay.
I think you're wrong.
I might totally be wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay,
You're wrong.
Steven looks like he's about to fucking die.
I'm here. I'm fine. I'm spaced out. No, you're wrong, Jake. That's not it.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Like I said, that was when I first started. I distinctly remember once I unlocked all of the nodes on 1, the other ones going like a lower opacity or something. But before I had all 4 of 1, they were all bright. Which it may just be a cosmetic thing, but I didn't know. Anyway, like I said, I hadn't tested that, so that's just me saying something stupid.
Apparently. Are you talking about like when you had a point to upgrade, it was like flashing that you could upgrade it?
No, I'm saying as I was upgrading 1 path, so I didn't realize that it was a pick and like you were gonna have to be locked off.
Yeah.
So like I was like, oh, this top left one on this section looks cool. Oh, like unlock that. Oh, bottom right, that looks really cool too. Unlock that. And both of those nodes were glowing as if they were active. Does that make sense? But once I had all 4 of the nodes on the bottom active, the one on the top went dark.
I don't think that's happened to me.
Like I said, I could be wrong, but anyway.
It may have glitched out for you, but for me, very early on,
it's like whenever you pick.
You can ask Brody. Like I was pissed off pretty early on before I even capped my class because I saw what they were doing.
Well, speaking of people being pissed, are either of you planning on getting BattleFront 2?
No, I never was.
So you never were. I never was. Steven, were you planning on getting it? Okay. It's crazy how effed up that whole thing has been.
So here's my thing. EA has in their hands, in the palm of their hands, the most marketable and easily profitable franchise ever. And they've screwed it up twice. Like, I don't understand how they can be so blatantly stupid with what they've got.
Was make it like the original Battlefront games.
Yep.
And me and my brother Carter played those games all the time when we were younger.
Yep.
Because they were fun. And you could just become whatever hero. Well, you can become whatever hero whenever you wanted.
But you had several options you could do.
You didn't have to unlock them and do all this other crap.
Or pay for them, no less.
And like, I understand unlocking heroes. Like, they have to... You don't have to, but they want to give people this weird satisfaction of, I unlocked Luke Skywalker.
So this is an interesting...
like...
Well, go ahead, finish your point.
The thing that's the worst to me is that, like... I don't know. 40 hours to unlock a character is pretty retarded. I don't know if I should say retarded.
It's so funny to me that they like that's the big argument that they're making is like, no, we want you to work for it. We want you to work for it. And it's like, I just paid
Unless if you want to make it rain.
Do what?
We want you to work for it. Unless if you can make it rain and bring it on home.
What makes me mad is like, why do I have to work in a game that I just bought? Like, I've paid for this. It's done. I shouldn't have to work. Like, yes, I should be able to play and enjoy and unlock things, but like, I shouldn't have to work, you know? I don't know. Anyway,
here's what I don't understand is that EA, again, it's a Star Wars game. It is Star Wars Battlefront. Mm-hmm. There is nothing on the market that competes with it because nothing else on the market is Star Wars.
Right.
So you shouldn't need this thing that adds longevity to your game, right, that makes them play more to unlock more, because they're gonna play it anyway. Right. It's freaking Star Wars. Like, I saw a Facebook comment today that you guys will love. It was about that someone did the math, and it would take like over 400 or 4,000 hours to unlock everything.
And it was
$2,100.
Yeah, $2,100.
And someone commented, it's the height of privilege to complain it takes 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader when it took Anakin literally burning alive and losing most of his body to unlock Vader. # someone paid the ultimate microtransaction.
He paid the ultimate microtransaction. Let me ask you this, because this has been a topic. So kind of the reason that microtransactions have become more prevalent, obviously it's a money thing, but a big part of it is that games are more expensive to make, but games have not gone up in price in several years. They've been $60 for, I think it's at least 10 years or so. But game development has gotten more and more expensive. There's a big conversation going on right now of, should we just up the price of games? Like, what if tomorrow the news came out and it said, games prices are being upped. Every game is going to have a baseline start of $70.
Then you'd have a lot of people pirating games.
Here's the thing, like, in a perfect world,
right,
in a perfect world, I would be okay with that, because along with the video game market is coming more renting services.
Right.
So if I'm going to take a risk on a game, you got GameFly, you've got GameStop is doing a rental service. You could
Redbox.
Check out the game. Redbox, all that.
Yeah, GameStop has canceled that or suspended that.
They have, okay.
Because
I
guess
they
were running out of pre-owned games.
I haven't read, but that might be it too. I assumed that people weren't bringing things back, but yeah. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
But the thing is, if I was asked, would you pay $80 for XCOM 2, like my favorite game in the past while, I would have been like, yeah, I enjoyed that game enough. I can play that game enough. I can still play that game enough that I would say leave your microtransactions and everything out of it, and I will pay $80 to get the full experience without any kind of randomized currency unlocking, anything like that. And if I like a game enough, me personally, I will spend like $20 more on it.
Yeah.
I would. But you do have the risk of these games that you haven't played, trying them out, kind of like how I was with South Park, but I used GameStop's pre-owned stuff for that. But in a perfect world, I think that raising the price to improve the games themselves and not make them just a random loot, microtransaction-driven mess, it's a better solution.
Yeah.
But like Brody said, with that, you just got more people pirating, and you kind of enhance the problem.
Yeah, so it's kind of a situation of, we're already at a point where people think it's too expensive, and they're pirating or waiting for sales or deals. So you up that entry price.
I'm excited for Black Friday, because a lot of the games that just came out, like Assassin's Creed and South Park and stuff like that, are already going to be $25.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. It's something's gonna have to give though, I think, because with microtransactions like right now, I mean, every game that's coming out is having massive microtransactions.
And it felt like that happened overnight too.
It really did. I mean, it's like a month went by and now everything has microtransactions.
It's like
when I heard that Shadow of War had microtransactions, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like that it begins.
Like, so everyone likes to point out Overwatches too.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between Overwatches and Battlefront 2 is that all of Overwatches is purely just cosmetic.
Mm-hmm.
It does not affect the game in any way.
Mm-hmm. It's not like there's a character that you get from opening a loot box.
Yeah.
That's basically what Battlefront 2 is doing.
Yeah, all the freaking DLC for Overwatch is free. They're about to release another new hero, whatever. But in Battlefront 2, you unlock star cards and all this other bull crap that make you stronger than everyone else.
That enhances your play.
And it's like,
and I'm okay with cosmetic unlocks with loot boxes, but at the same time, it's a slippery slope because on one end, like I've said this before, I want to be able to play a game and have a clear plan of attack. Like I want to play this character, and I want to unlock this stuff on this character, and I want to unlock this weapon, this costume, all that kind of stuff. I want to know how to get what I want to get. I don't want to be left to a dice roll.
Right, exactly.
So in a lot of games, when they're like, oh, you want to get this costume? Well, say a quick prayer because you got to get it through a loot box and no other means.
Right.
That's a problem. And so with Overwatch, while it does have the more... the less underhanded means of using microtransactions and loot boxes, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. Well, and like I think Destinies are fine. None of Destinies.
Destinies, I don't know. Theirs is all cosmetic.
I was about to say theirs is all cosmetic. None of that is helping you win. I mean, I'll admit that for me personally, the emotes, I hate not having access to.
The shader thing is annoying to me. That now you have to buy all your... because I feel like someone's going to be like, well, that's still cosmetic. But it's like they changed it from the first game to make you have to pay for it in this one. So.
I mean, I have not had any problems with shaders, but I do think, kind of like y'all have said, y'all have talked about, oh, y'all want to be blue Power Rangers today or whatever, and like y'all have decked out yourselves just burning through shaders that you've collected. I can understand that being different, but anyway. Well, just to tie a bow on this topic, I do think something's going to have to change, and it should be interesting to see what it's going to be, because obviously we've got to get developers. They have to make money to make it, and obviously they have to make a living. But it's just interesting how expensive this industry is in general.
A friend of mine pointed out that with EA getting as much flack as they are over the Star Wars franchise, and he took it a step further. He was like, EA right now is basically condoning child gambling.
Right, yeah.
And Disney, who owns the Star Wars license, is indirectly being like, yeah, childhood gambling.
Yeah.
And so it really... He brought up a point. He was like, how long is it before Disney starts getting bad PR and steps in?
Well, there are some... I've heard of some I don't know if it's government or just lawyers in general, are looking into Overwatch and Battlefront, talking about loot boxes, and is that considered childhood gambling, and could that possibly be illegal? Which honestly, to me, at this point, I don't know that I agree with that or not, but that's probably the best argument that gamers have to get this shut down.
Yeah.
Because I think the majority of us don't like microtransactions, and there's a minority that has the funds that they are just like, whatever, I'm gonna spend my money on it. So I feel like those minority who are spending it, they're the ones that they're seeing the dollar signs of and just going with. So
I mean, it's all like the big YouTubers on like YouTube.
Right.
YouTubers on YouTube.
All the YouTubers on the YouTube
that like buy like huge amounts of boxes.
Yeah, they'll do loot box openings and stuff.
And like the whales that spend thousands of dollars a day on different games, which is just insane to me.
Making it illegal, I feel like, is the only way at this point that I see how it could go away anytime soon, at least.
Yeah. Did y'all hear about, like, there was some guy on Twitter that everyone was like talking about that was supposed to be some developer for BattleFront 2.
Who's been getting death threats
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that he doesn't even work for them.
Yeah, he was a fake account. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard like the name of his page changed, and someone changed out his bio. Mm-hmm. Like, so yeah, either that guy had to bail and hide, and that's why everything's changed, or it was fake. But anyway,
I just thought that was funny.
Speaking of fake news, this isn't fake news, but they're making a Mario movie, or are in talks to.
Kill me.
Brody's already like, kill me. But Steven, you're not excited about this either?
Who the company is that is wanting to work with them.
You remember last time a Mario movie happened?
Yep.
Yep, that's my stance.
I think that if done well, let me restate. I don't think they could.
It's easy to say that.
I don't think they could do as bad as what they've already done. Like, it can't be worse than what they've already done. Not in 2017.
This is the problem I've had anytime someone brings up a Mario or a Zelda movie is that, like, both of the protagonists don't talk. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, it's a bad idea. They added voice acting to the new Zelda, but Link still does not talk.
Right.
I don't know.
It's one of those that some characters do not translate well to film, or I feel like wouldn't translate well to film. Mario and Link are two of those characters, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what more will you get by watching them on a big screen?
I will say this. The one way that they could really redeem a little bit of faith in people is if they get, I forget his name, the guy who voices Mario. Charles Martinet. If they get him to do the voice of Mario, that would win a lot of grace from me, personally.
But what do you mean the voice? It's just kind of, whoa,
now,
whoa.
If he speaks, I want it to be Charles Martinet speaking.
I don't
want to ever
hear Mario talk.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I want them to do a Mario movie with Danny DeVito as the voice of Mario.
No, because Danny DeVito is the voice of Pikachu.
He can do both. He can do both. And then a crossover, Detective Pikachu meets Mario, both voiced by Danny DeVito.
Oh my gosh.
That's too much.
I was going to say something. Shoot. I just lost my train of thought.
I'm just scared to see a Mario movie made by the people that made Minions.
I'll be honest, I'm afraid of it, but I think in 2017 we've had Angry Birds be a successful movie.
Was that successful?
It was.
What's your gauge for successful movie? It was more successful
than any of the other video game movies that have come out. In fact, hell, World of Warcraft did amazing in Japan. Mm-hmm. Like, it did really well.
World of Warcraft actually had things about it that made it good, though. It wasn't great.
There's a lot of
I wouldn't even call it good, but
there's a lot of movies
it was
that
redeemable.
Blow up in China for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't know. I echo your sentiments. I guess in a way, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I think it could be good.
Can you imagine a Mario film where all of the Toads act like minions?
I don't think they'll act like minions.
Maybe they'll just bring the rabbits in.
Oh God!
I'm still a little bitter that there are rabbits in Mario. I don't know why it's not like Bowser's children or whatever.
Me and Alex Ann we were watching something on Steven's Hulu account, and some Minions commercial came up, and all it was one of them going like, or something, and like, and for some reason, like, I kind of just lost it when that happened, and looked at Alex Ann and was like, and she just lost it, and like, now we just make stupid Minion noises all the time.
Wow.
It's stupid because you don't want to laugh at that, but then you're trying to make fun of it by pointing out how stupid it is, and then everyone just laughs at it.
So maybe it is more brilliant than you think it is.
We should just try to make a kids movie with really stupid characters.
It might do well. We should try that. So speaking of things that are stupid, Marvel Heroes got canceled. You guys heard about that, Steven? You guys were both a little bit more upset than I was. I'll admit, really I didn't even really know what it was.
So, a few years ago, there was a little game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Right, yeah.
Probably heard of it.
Yep, I played it.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes.
So you had like a team of
Marvel
4.
Heroes.
You could pick heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel Heroes was kind of a spiritual successor to Ultimate Alliance, to where it was like a MMO where you play as various Marvel characters. It was fairly pay to win, but you could still unlock things without money. But it was made by a guy that worked on the Diablo games, so it played really well. It was loot driven. It was just a fun game. I played it a lot on PC,
right?
A whole lot. And then it came out on console this year. Played it on console some, and now seemingly out of nowhere, they're just like, "Hey, Disney's shutting it down."
So it's not just consoles that are getting shut down; it's getting shut down entirely.
Yeah.
Wow. Disney is kind of pulling out of the video game industry. I mean, they shut down Disney Infinity, which I knew that was going to happen at some point.
You used to be like big into that.
I was a huge Disney Infinity fan. I loved it.
And then you sold all your figures.
I kept a few. Few. But yeah, they're just kind of pulling out of the video game industry in a lot of ways.
I'm hoping that what they're doing is that, at least with Marvel's licensing, is that they're kind of pulling back so that they can move forward with a plan. Because, we got Spider-Man coming, we've got the Square Enix Avengers game that we still know basically nothing about. But I hope that there's going to be some kind of interconnectivity to where the games...
The Marvel game universe. The MCU.
Yes, honestly. Yes. And while it's an interesting idea, because with different games you could have, completely different genres. Like, you could have a squad-based top-down action game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I really hope we get a new one now that Marvel Heroes is getting shut down. But you could have something like that in an Avengers game, but then you've got your open-world game with Spider-Man. Right. You could have just all these different games, but they all could kind of interconnect in some ways. And I really think that would do well. I think that would perform great. So, I don't know. It's kind of like the Star Wars thing. It seems so easy, yet we're not getting the payoff yet.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping that Spider-Man and Avengers are the start of something big.
I want that Spider-Man game to come out tomorrow.
See, I'm not that excited about it.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know that I like it, how it looks like it plays. I said this when we streamed it. It looked... There's some older Spider-Man game that's come out, or heck, even the Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man was bad.
Yeah, it looked like how that played.
Really?
To me, like how the combos worked and everything, and all the quick time events. That's how it felt. Viewing the new game, is how that felt to me. So I'm withholding judgment. I may end up picking it up. I'm hoping someone else will. I'm hoping I'll see some good reviews ahead of it that will make me want to play it. But right now, I'm not super excited about it, and that hurts me.
It might be a day one for me.
It hurts me as a Spider-Man player and as a PS4 player. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steven.
It might be a day one for me.
Right.
We'll see.
I trust Insomniac games.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
That's true.
I'm just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. All right. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in into this episode of ChortleCast. We do hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, there's a few things you can do to help us out. If you're on YouTube right now, you're already at ChortleGames.com, and you can leave us a nice little comment on that video, and Brody or I, or maybe even Steven will respond, and we'd like to hear your feedback about what you thought about the show, what you thought about these topics we've talked about. Also, if you're a podcast listener, you can leave us a nice little review on iTunes. We get those, we see those, we appreciate those, and those help out the podcast a lot. So we do appreciate when you do that. You can also send us an email at chortlecast@gmail.com, and you can send us topics you'd like to hear us talk about. If there's a news story you'd like to hear our thoughts on, you can send us all sorts of stuff like that. You can let us know what you think about the show, and we get those, and we appreciate any of that feedback that we can get from you guys. And last but not least, you can tweet us at Twitter, and we'll tweet on. You can tweet us at Twitter. You can tweet us at ChortleGames on Twitter, and we'll tweet you back. It's a good show, guys. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back in the swing of things. Halloween was a lot of fun. It was crazy. I don't know that we'll do it again next year, but it was fun. Through all that, we may try something different. I don't know. Few housekeeping items for you. Next week is Thanksgiving, so happy early Thanksgiving to everyone. We will be having a podcast on Friday, so look forward to that. We're going to have a special guest from Classy Gamers, Ryan. We're going to be talking with him. It starts off as or I guess our initial thought was we would talk about some Kingdom Hearts and like some childhood games, but we ended up going off on rabbit trail after rabbit trail. So it's really great. We talked a lot about what it's like being a small YouTuber, kind of some challenges that come with that. We talked a lot about games from our childhood, just all sorts of things like that. So it was great. We got Ryan to do. Ryan has some great one-off liners that are really funny that I'm going to throw in. So anywho, you're going to want to check it out. You're going to see that. So be sure to tune in next week for that. And of course, also next week we're back in full swing videos. So we're going to have another episode of Cuphead, which is great. We fight a big blue handsome man who kicks our butt a lot. And then Wednesday, it's another video with me and Lee Allison. She and I play a game called Quick Draw that ends up being a lot of fun. I was telling these guys before the show, it's probably the most delightful episode we've ever done. And what I mean by that is I don't know that it's necessarily funny. Like, I think you will laugh, but it's just enjoyable. You know what I mean? Like there's
something you'd put on in the background.
Exactly. There's some nice I put some nice piano music to it.
I was going to ask, did you mean to leave the podcast music up for the whole golf video?
No, there was no audio in that game, so I put music to it.
Because I was watching it and I was like, why is the podcast music here? And then it kept going and I was like, why do you put music over the whole thing?
Because I didn't have any, and it was not going to work without music. So anyway, put some nice piano to it. It's just very, very delightful. There are some pretty funny moments. Like there's a part of the game is you have to draw things, and an AI guesses what you're drawing. One of my prompts was a toe, and so I looked to the camera and I said, I can do this because I know feet, and I kind of did like a wink, and the camera cuts to Lee Allison, and she's making about the face Steven is right now, which is just kind of a like, what the hell is he talking about kind of face. So there's some really funny moments in there, but I don't know, it's just delightful. That's how I would describe it. So be sure to tune into that next week. So
if you like drawing and you have a foot fetish, make sure to check in next week.
And on that note, we're out. Thanks, guys.